Hi, so I thought this video might be a good idea just to give you a little bit of insight into me and why I think I can produce videos and give tips and advice to anybody who's starting their running journey. Because I myself was once in a position which you're hopefully in now, where you're beginning to think about, actually, I want to try out running or get running again. Or just try it for the very first time. So my story begins back in 2016 when I realised I'd been putting on quite a little bit of weight. I was probably just shy of 14 stone at the time, which for me, I'm only a little fella, 5'8" and loose change. And aged at the time, I would be, back in 2016, 46. I'm now 54. So I began my journey back in 2016, and there's a break in between as well, which is kind of critical. So I began running in the gym, on the treadmill, doing run, walk, interval training, which I've covered in the Getting Started video. And that was really day one, just running for maybe 60, 70, 80 seconds at a time, then walking and repeat for 30 minutes and doing that 4 or 5 times a week. You don't have to go 4 or 5 times a week if you're beginning, but I'd certainly recommend going at least 3 times a week, 4 if you can. And it took me about a month to build up to a level of fitness where I could run 5k on the treadmill without stopping. And a relatively easy pace of 6 minutes 40 seconds roughly per kilometre per minute, and then from there I began to run on the road. In fact, I started to run around a local loch. I live in Scotland, very lucky to live in Scotland, a little place called East Kilbride, and we have a loch close by, James Hamilton Heritage Park. It's about 1.2 kilometres per circuit, and I just ran circuits around there. Didn't want to run on the road, didn't want people to see me, so get up early, run around the loch, and built up to 10k. Then I did my first competitive 10k. I think that was back in 2017. Got me finisher's medal and did that in 48 minutes and 49 minutes and 33 seconds. That's still my personal best for a competitive 10k at the minute. The most recent one I did was the Great Scottish Run again this year, and I did it in just over 50 minutes. But I ran solidly from 2016 all the way up until 2020 when the pandemic hit, and did a number of events. In fact, I peaked probably with this, which is a Spartan obstacle course race. It's an ultra event, so an ultra marathon with obstacles thrown in for good measure, which I liked because it distracts you from the fact that you're running. Did not set any records on fire with that. Completed it, got the finisher's medal, was happy to do it. It took me 12 hours, if I'm honest with you, 58 kilometres with all the obstacles up in the mountains of Penrith. And prior to that, I'd done the Spartan trifecta, and I really like the obstacle course running. Can't do that now because I've got an injured shoulder, so I'm concentrating on road running. So that was the first 4 years, really. I did about 20, 30 different events. So it was a mix of trail runs, road runs. So I did the Edinburgh Half Marathon. I got a tickle over 2 hours, I think, for the Edinburgh Half Marathon. I'll have to check that. It might be a tickle under, but it certainly wasn't anything too spectacular. And trail running's good fun. You've got to find where you want to run. So some of you might want to stay in the gym and run on a treadmill, which is great. A lot of people find that quite arduous because it became quite boring, just running on a treadmill like a little hamster. But it could be good for you. Personally, I like to get out on the road and run, and depending on the weather up here, it can be very exhilarating. I love the summer when it's light in the mornings, getting out and running then. But I stopped running rather back in 2020 when the pandemic hit. I got this shoulder niggle. In fact, I ran through the pandemic. It was towards the end of the pandemic, things began to tail off, and I was on and off running for the next 2 years. And then 2022, it was kind of a hard stop for about a year or so. and I just got back into it in July of 2024. So I've been running again now for about 6 months, and I'm back up now to the level of fitness that I was previously. Again, I'm not setting the world on fire. My average pace at the moment on a 10k run is 5 minutes 30 seconds per kilometre. So I'm doing that roughly in about 54 minutes when I'm training, and hitting about a 50-minute 10k on events. My next event is actually on Sunday 6th of January, which is in about 5-6 days time, because it's now New Year's Eve, and that being Glasgow Green, weather permitting. So that's just a little bit of a history of me and who I am. So I'm really on this journey as well as anybody else. I finish round about the middle of the pack, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if I finish at the back of the pack or dead last. For me, running is about running against yourself, not the people that you're with. It can be a community sport if you want it to be. You know, lots of people like to run in groups or in clubs, which is great, and use running as a social vehicle as well as a fitness vehicle. Personally, I like the solitude of it, and the thing that I get from running more than anything else, more than the physical fitness, which is great, particularly being in my 50s now, I've had the same 54, is the mental health gains that I get. I'm always in a much better mood, always feel much happier, and there's nothing beats the feeling of finishing a run, whether it's a training run that you've done, 5k, 3k, or if you've just finished a half marathon or a marathon for the first time. Finishing that run, getting over the finish line, and getting that feeling of self-belief and accomplishment, nothing beats it. Nothing beats it at all. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into me and a little bit of confidence in what I'm doing. I'm no expert. I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm just trying to share my experiences, the things that work for me, and hopefully those will help you. And please, as I say in any of the videos I'm doing right now, if you want to ask me anything specific, whether it's about just general road running, road races, kit that you use, the difference between OCR racing, trail racing, road running, anything at all, just put it in the comments and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can, hopefully. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.